Bayou Time Sports is brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Graubaugh, and it is my pleasure to have here with me my friend, David Constant. Always good to see David. David is the Fellowship of Christian Athletes outdoor representative for what I didn't know. I always thought it was the South. Now it's pretty much all of Louisiana. First of all, good to have you here. Hope you've been doing well.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much, Stan. Always a pleasure, and can't thank you enough. And HTV has always been good at highlighting the youth, and it's so good to see, back in high school, couldn't wait to turn on HTV and see the kids. So.
I do know y'all had your big award ceremony for the, I don't want to call it the fishing season necessarily for high school, but you guys did something just a few weeks ago here.
Yes, with Vanderbilt, correct.
It was with Vanderbilt Catholic.
Coach Brandon Clark, who's doing a phenomenal job with the fishing team there at Vanderbilt. I just went to speak and talk to them. Coach Brandon had his kids serve last year at our rodeo. Even the cheerleaders came, and we'll talk about that in a little while. But it was such a blessing to have them and serve us and really get those bass kids involved in saltwater fishing. So that's kind of where that spurned. So they did a good little job of highlighting their team. And that's
very good.
About.
And a great segue, because it's time for the third annual FCA Open Championship,
yes,
which happens down in Grand Isle. And there you see it. Actually, there's some shots from that which happened last year. I assume that would have been in July of last year.
Correct, same date.
Same thing, and the dates of that are right around the corner, folks. So we're talking about the third week in July, July 19th. It's going to happen at Bridgeside Marina, which I know you're very familiar with. You always work with those guys, and you obviously have a great relationship.
Yes,
the scale opens up on Friday, 5:30, and it's open pretty much the entire day on Saturday. When I say the entire day, when the boats are coming in, obviously,
yes,
3 to 5. The one thing that caught my attention when I first saw this on social media was in memory of Trey St. Pierre. Talk a little bit about that. This is your third annual, and what is Trey's role?
Yeah, so Trey St. Pierre was my catcher back at Edie White when I was coaching, and I say my catcher, Coach Shane Trustclair was coaching that year also, and so Trey was just a phenomenal kid. He had the pleasure of catching Cam Sanders, by the way.
Wow.
Who, as we know, is AAA now.
Man, he's moving on up.
Man, listen, to see Trey try to handle Cam Slider was unbelievable, as we know. But no, Trey got the call 2 years ago. Actually, it was in Grand Isle fishing that he had a heart attack at 25 years old. Oh. And lost his life. And so fast forward, this past year, putting together the tournament, and I said, let's do something for Trey.
That's awesome.
And I called his mom and talked with her about it, and it just so happened it was July 20th last year. The July 20th, the year before, is the year to the day that our tournament was going to be, and so it was just a God moment between her and me talking, and she was just instrumental, the whole family really, in putting together last year, just really helping out with sponsors and getting shirts together to all the family members, and it was special. It really was, and I said, let's go ahead and next year do it better.
So it will always be in memory of Trey.
Yeah, this year, I told Miss Charlotte, she actually has a daughter that's getting married. And so with all that going on, I said, Miss Charlotte, we got it.
Yeah.
Just come, have the family come, and what we're going to do is take care of everything. It'll always be in memory of Trey. We're going to do a special award, a character award.
Makes sense.
Every year for the top youth that displays character and, of course, fishing ability. But we'll choose that at the end of the rodeo.
Makes sense. What was the initial genesis of all of this?
So, good question. So, actually, I was coaching at Vanderbilt, and kids started talking about fishing teams. And then I left Vanderbilt, went coach at Edie White, and then the kids really jumped on board. And that turned into me coaching for 12 years there, which was a blessing, and having a fishing team there. And every month I'd meet, and these kids would fill the classroom, and they wanted hey, coach, let's do saltwater. Let's do a saltwater tournament. And I'm like, guys, coaching baseball, and this is going to be tough because during the springtime, got a lot going on. And it's already tough to get the bass guys out in the world, so let's put that on the back burner. So when FCA came calling, as you know, we'll get into it, but 70 years ago, Fellowship of Christian Athletes became this awesome opportunity for coaches and athletes in schools to talk about Jesus. And that just fires me up to think about that 70 years ago. The ministry started, the opportunity for kids to be in a school setting and share Jesus. And so the call came. Actually, I was at Edie White, and I was in the process of figuring out the next year. I have a seven-year-old little daughter who's my world. And, the baseball world, coaching world, it's a lot of time. And I said, I got to pray about it. And my buddy, who's a state director, was at a bass tournament and said, you really need to come to this and pray about it. Stan, we handed out over 300 Bibles that morning at a marina. And I said, man, this is what God is calling me to do, to hand out Bibles at a bass tournament. And so that got me thinking, man, if we could do that in West Monroe, Louisiana, how many marinas that we have down South Louisiana? And so God put it on my heart just to get to the saltwater world. And that's kind of where it's created.
Makes total sense. It's a great vehicle, especially where we're from.
Absolutely.
Listen, we're going to take a little break. We're going to talk more about the tournament. We're going to talk more about the FCA in general and just what it does for the kids in our area. It is a great, I call it a grounding tool. It's just a great tool, period. So stick around, folks. We'll be back with more of David Constant on the FCA right after this.
Stay tuned for more Bayou Time Sports, brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System, Community Sports Institute, Barker Honda, and Barker Kia.
Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bayou Time Sports. I'm Stan Grauber, along with David Constant. David is the Outdoors Louisiana representative for the Fellowship of Christian Athletes, doing a great job with that after a great coaching tenure here in our local area. They have, and when I say they, I know he is a large part of it, but I know it takes more than just you to put this on.
Absolutely.
The third annual FCA Open Championship Fishing Rodeo. It is on July 19th. It happens down in Grand Isle at Bayou Side Marina. You see some of the pictures as I'm going to ask our producer to get to that next slide. That's where it's really cool, where you see some of the pictures of all of the folks there. And obviously that must have been a t-shirt you guys had last year.
Yes,
Very nice as they get that. Entry fee only $30. You do have a QR code there if you want to get up to your TV and get it. I see Blue Boot is a little involved. How do they get involved?
They are involved. From the get-go, I talked to Darby and Nicole, and they were so awesome, and Nico, who runs it all. And for the last 2 years, they've given a life jacket for every kid that signs up. That's that initiative, right, to put a life jacket on every young person in the state of Louisiana. And so they allow us actually to go to their rodeo, which, by the way, is July 12th.
Correct.
The weekend before us.
Yes,
I
let's give them a plug. Blue Boots, right?
July 12th, their rodeo is phenomenal. It's got to be probably the biggest, the nicest rodeo that I've been to. And I've been to a lot of them.
Well, they've grown it quick.
They're it's a class act. I mean, from everything from the kids' events to just scales and just the pageantry of what they do. It's awesome. It really is. So we're so thankful for them. So kind of what this turned into, my vision was to have more than one tournament for us. But I said, Blue Boots already there doing theirs. Let's go serve them, set up a table, give out Bibles to kids, wristbands with the 4, which we do in FCA, which is the gospel. We share the gospel with a wristband. So we did do that. We also do the Creole Classic. Have to mention them. The Creole Classic's a phenomenal family rodeo that just was this past weekend, and they donate to the ministry. So
very good. It's a partnership. Basically.
It really is. We just love serving them because that's where the kids are, right? That's our outreach. And that's how FCA turned into outdoors, by the way.
You know what's funny about all of this? Obviously, when I was coaching and when I was a kid, we had FCA, and FCA was strong. And I guess it's whoever, if you have a huddle leader at your school, it's great. If you don't happen to have one, it's not probably as strong. All that being said, it doesn't have to happen within the single high school, right?
Correct.
Your fishing rodeo, I'm going to call it yours, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That is a way, it's sort of a ministry, right?
It is. It's an outreach, Stan, and that's how this whole ministry of the outdoors was created. We do fishing, hunting, shooting sports, equestrian, and rodeo even. I got Shay Fournier, who you know David Fournier. Yeah. He's riding.
Shay's all over the world right now.
Yeah, and he's riding with his FCA logo. Man, it's just so awesome to see. So it's just an awesome outreach. It's where the kids are, right? And so we just love serving. And you mentioned the schools that may not have it. Listen, if there's anyone listening, we have 26 middle school and high schools in the parish, from Lafourche and Terrebonne Parish. We serve all 26. If there's not a huddle in your school, contact me.
See David Constant.
See me on Facebook.
If there's that one coach, that one teacher that wants to get it going,
very simple.
Reach out to you.
And my job, not only outdoors, I feel like, is to get to those schools.
So you're going to come back on this show with me when school starts so that we can get that out there.
Absolutely. And that's what this is about, right? It's about raising money for ministry, to buy Bibles, to get kids a Bible that may not have a Bible, to get to the schools and do ministry. And it's called E3 is what it's called, Stan. E3 stands for to engage, to equip, and empower. That's a discipleship training. That's what FCA is going to now. It's all about discipleship, which is amazing. I could go on for days about how we've been training.
Is FCA nationwide?
It's worldwide.
Worldwide.
Yes, sir. It's worldwide now. We actually are connected with West Africa, which is crazy to think we have people serving there. But our state director, Andy Stroop, who played football at LSU, he was my roommate and just out of college, and he's a state director now. And man, he does it right. It's a big family here in Louisiana. We love what we do. It's a family. I just encourage anybody that wants to know more about it. These kids in high school, the joy to see them get plugged into a college. You know, when they leave high school, like me, I remember getting to college and trying to find a ministry. And man, FCA is there. It's at every college, which I didn't mention Nichols. We're fixing to get going at Nichols. And so
that's awesome.
I say all that to say that our rodeo is to raise money for all that, to get in the schools, to do ministry, to get scholarships going. So any businesses out there, of course you see calling my costume, but it's really to really highlight the companies that are partnering up and helping us do ministry.
Very good. Jay, our producer, if we could get that middle slide back up there, we'll let everybody know exactly where to go. It's open to youth through adults.
That's right.
July 19th, Bridgeside Marina. Fishing begins, obviously, Friday. 5:30 a.m. and scales are open Saturday.
And that's more for the offshore guys. We have snapper, mangrove, and cobia division. I'm not much of an offshore guy. I'm an inshore guy.
Yeah.
One thing I would really want to highlight is that, with the ice, I guess the snowstorm we'll call it, the redfish and the speckled trout population, has depleted a little bit. And so what we're trying to do is go to a live, actual video release, and it's going to be year round. Any kid that signs up, the first 100, we partnered up with Release Over 20, which is a conservation through Speckled Truth, which is really an awesome. If you're interested, Speckled Truth is just a way to get kids to learn how to really take care of what we consider big trophy speckled trout, because we want them to populate, right?
Right.
We want, just like the redfish population, you can't keep a bull red anymore. I don't know if you knew that. So what we're doing is we're trying to go to a live release. We're going to start it this year where we get a bump board, every kid that signs up, and they just get to release the fish after they measure it, and we just show a live release, and they just plug it into Facebook, and we get to see it. And there's an extra division for that. We'll give a custom rod from a company that sends us just some awesome products. So
very good.
Yes,
very
sir.
Good. Real quick, if somebody, best place to go to find out more information.
Yeah. So
Facebook.
Facebook is Louisiana FCA Outdoors.
Very good.
Louisiana FCA Outdoors. It's got everything you need. And of course, I try to plug everything on my website too. I say my website, my Facebook, but also real simple is FCA BR, which is BatonRouge.org. I don't have that up there, but FCABR.org.
Okay.
You could search for ministry, and that's where our state director put the outdoor ministry portion.
Perfect.
Yes, sir.
Perfect. As we are out of time. Thanks for coming in.
Man, thank you, Stan.
We'll get you
as
back
always.
when school gets
Absolutely, man. That's a blessing. Thank you.
David Constant,
Yes, sir.
FCA, guy who kicked the game-winning field goal for Tiffany. You know I couldn't get
Oh, I got a great story about that.
We'll get to it. We're running out of time now. We're going to tease everybody for it. But that's how I always talk about Dave.
Yes, sir.
Number 77 ran out there and did it for Thibodeau High.
Just
All right. We'll be right back with more after this.
This segment was brought to you by Terrebonne General Health System Community Sports Institute in conjunction with Barker Honda and Barker Kia.